Hey, me again. Your little flashlight in the cave, guide a light, trying to make it through the night. Um, this kind of goes along with the last video I was making about fighting addictions. When we get to a point where we start realizing and accepting the fact that, hey, we're not perfect. Oh my God, who told you should be perfect? A narcissist. Someone that wanted to destroy you in the first place. Someone that picked at your flaws, what you thought were your flaws. Because believe me, a narcissist will hone in on what makes you unhappy about yourself. And their main goal is to make you hate yourself, to make you question yourself, to make you feel like you're a failure so that you will turn to them and almost thank them for being a part of your life, for saving you, for making you realize all these things about yourself you never recognized. But the thing is, when you're dealing with a narcissist, they're picking at the things that could make you great, the things that do make you great. And that's because they're insecure. They don't have those things. They're so busy competing with you and everyone else around them, lying to themselves that grandiose idea that I am God. And sure, we all have a portion of God within us. That's our spirit, right? That's the thing that ties us to a higher realm, a higher way of thinking, our higher selves. But the thing about a narcissist is they're delusional. They think they're the only ones that are like this, even though what they see is unobtainable in their life. They can't get it because they won't tell themselves the truth. So these people will come along and try to destroy you. And for 16 years, I was with somebody that I put on a pedestal. For a while, it was out of fear. Then it became like Stockholm syndrome, to where the person that's been held captive for so long falls in love with their captor. So you get to a point where it's almost like being a part of a cult or being brainwashed, and you can't get out of the notion that that person is bad for you. Who is it? Ed Sheeran, I don't know if that's how you say his name, has that song Bad Habits. My bad habits lead to you. And it's being with that one person that makes us okay with our bad habits. If someone's making you okay with your bad habits, they're more than likely preying on you, your energy, your love, your time. They're sucky butts, vampires, people that don't have the ability to generate their own energy, their own love, their own ability to appreciate themselves. They need the outside world to tell them, hey, you're awesome. And like I've stated several times before, you don't get a cheerleading squad in this life. You're it. You have to have the strength, courage, love, admiration for yourself to keep going. And yes, you can open yourself up to that invisible cheerleading squad. Your ancestors, archangels, guardian angels, the divine. That when you connect on that level, say you're laying in bed and you got that humming going on in your head, that's downloads coming to you that are changing the chemistry within you, altering your genetics, allowing you to evolve. It's when there's just a constant, I want to say, dead silence in your life. And it can come from the people around you. It can come from when you're alone, you feel alone. Rather than when you're alone, you have the chance to create in a way that you're comfortable with. Because being alone can be empowering. And sometimes when we are battling those addictions, we do have to be alone. Because everyone's battling their own type of demon. And that's the hard part. If we could all group together and go, okay, you're suffering from this, I'm in this group. And you're suffering from that, you're in that group. And we could group together and do this together, that would be awesome. But the thing is, most of us have multiple things that we have to heal from. And it's funny that in this day and age, more people are aware of the fact that they need to heal rather than, let's say, 30, 40 years ago, people were on their deathbed and crying about the life they had lived because they didn't amount to anything. Nothing that they dreamed of became a reality. But there was nothing that was helping those people to change because those outdated mindsets were not outdated at that time. Whether it be racism or sitting there looking at money as the one thing that was like the ultimate goal in life that was going to say if you were a success or a failure. But we've moved past certain ways of thinking. And I would say, for one, because spirituality became more accepted. Allowing individuals to be who they were became more accepted. And now it's something that we actually push for. You know, we have certain individuals that are a part of organizations that their main purpose is to shine the light on the fact that they have the right to be free. They have the right to pick for themselves what makes them comfortable. And it doesn't matter who disagrees with them. That disagreement actually empowers them and pushes them further as a collective to achieve their goal that I am free. I am okay being me. You don't have a right to tell me that I'm sick in the head or something's wrong with me because of your opinion of me. And we need to get more and more to the concept to where we're open and honest about things that we face on a regular basis. You know, for the longest time, people would not come out and say that inappropriate acts had been done to them. And I'm assuming you might know where I'm going with this. I try not to use certain words on YouTube. But when someone had you willingly interact in something you didn't agree with, and there was no one there to place a charge on them for that. This happens to children way more than it does to adults. But those actions right there are often the things that start that toxic behavior. Kids in Hollywood or people that are in Hollywood that were child actors at some point have come forth and told their stories about the drug and the sexual abuse and the things that have occurred to them that led them down a path of misery, basically wanting to just give up on life because there was shame in the way that they had made their fortune. They were duped into believing that they had a chance, when in actuality they were being reeled in to become victims. And that's the hard part. In Hollywood, it's started to have a light shined on it so bright that it's changed the concept of the way that things are going. But in reality, where we are right now, it's something we face alone. And it's often harder for men to speak out about what has happened to them instead of females, because when it happens to men, then all of a sudden it changes the way that they identify on a gender level in their mind. Or it's a matter of weakness. Instead of looking at it in that limelight or that light, if we could start to see that truth would set a lot of people free, it wouldn't be shunned so much anymore. Because we have to get back to, like I was saying in the last video, starting to share our truths, starting to share the atrocities that have happened in our lives, to help others understand that you didn't ask for it. You didn't do it yourself. You were not in search of being destroyed emotionally, mentally, physically. A predator came along and got you. It's like a fox in a hen house. The hens, it doesn't matter how many hens there are, they can't stop the predator from at least getting one or two of them before they leave. So when it comes down to it, we're not responsible for what has happened to us. But we are responsible for the silence we choose to maintain to protect what we consider to be our identity. Because in the end, it doesn't matter how the world views you. You are who you are. Yes, things have happened to you that have adjusted who you were becoming. But it doesn't mean that you have to take the responsibility for the actions of someone else. Like I said in the very beginning, I was with a narcissist for so many years and never realized it. Also not realizing I was an empath who was absorbing that energy. That led to an identity crisis at some point, because there was this darkness inside of me that was never there. Not to the extent that I was okay allowing it to function in my life after being involved with this person. And the longer I was involved with them, the more I lost myself. By the time I finally left them, I was basically a bunch of jumbled up barbed wire. Very hard to reconfigure because it didn't matter how I looked at it, how I did it. I was taking responsibility for someone else's actions towards me. Then when I finally gave up the notion that that was my fault, I was somehow responsible for it, I turned on myself. I started to say I allowed it. I started hating myself because I could see how much I let myself down. And it's really hard when you let yourself down and you recognize that. You can let other people down and apologize, and they'll tell you it's okay, and then for some reason you can believe that. But when we do it to ourselves, a lot of times it's like, liar, but you still have those two entities within you, ego and spirit. Spirit might recognize it and say, it's okay. I've never not loved you. Whereas your ego says, you're a fucking loser. Why would you give up on me like that? Why would you throw us to the wolves? So you still have that dark and light within you that is going to constantly battle, especially when you have been in toxic relationships. And at this point in life, I don't know who hasn't. I have not met one single person that doesn't have a horror story called their life. Incidents that led them down a path. Either to get away from the darkness, or possibly in being vulnerable, naive, gullible, trusting, whatever it was, walked straight into a cave full of wolves. Never realizing you were a sheep. Never realizing you were walking to your own demise. But in essence, it wasn't your own demise, it was the chance to wake up. Maybe when you look at the fact, same way I've had to, that I had to live with somebody that was so full of darkness for me to find the light within myself, it will start to make sense. Because you can't know sides of life that you don't experience. And like I said, we've all been a part of a toxic world. We know the toxicity very well. There's still an inkling of light within all of us. It's just, is there enough within you to initiate the spark to get the fire burning again? Because you have to have that fire that then becomes the driving force. The thing that's going to make you go, I accept me, I forgive me, I love me. And I'm not going to take responsibility for all of the things other people have done to hurt me. And in the complete outcome, I forgive them. They educated me. They helped me become the strongest individual I could be that would allow me to wake up and go, it's time to heal. It's time to level up. It's time to get further down the line and understand I can have dreams. I can have goals. These are achievable. Because when you're in a toxic world, there are no dreams. I know a lot of people that say, I don't dream. And it's because when you go into that sleep state, that's when your mind is trying to make sense of what you've seen, what you've felt, what you've heard, what does it need to keep, what does it need to put into a vault to allow you to have kind of like a treasure map. Every day a new start, and then what you've learned, don't do that again. So when you're going to sleep and then it's almost like just unplugging from a system, not even going with the intention of resting, a lot of times you're not going to have dreams. You're not going to remember. And it's funny, we remember the nightmares far easier than we remember the guidance, the breadcrumbs. But the more that you begin to wake up to the notion that you're simply walking on a path, it's called life. This path is not straight. They always say get on the straight and narrow. Get on the good foot. I've said that. But then when you look at it in that sense, there's no way we can all stay on the straight and narrow. We're meant to wander and explore. And I mean, that's what the wilderness is for, right? That's what the ocean is for. That's the things in our lives are here to show us that we're explorers. My nose is just going crazy. Did this the other day. Someone keeps thinking about me. If your nose ever itches, someone's thinking about you. Or another thing I've heard is someone's coming to visit you very soon. Doesn't mean they're going to show up in physical form. Remember, we live in an energetic world. But if you are starting to wake up and realize it's okay if you're wandering, it doesn't mean you're lost. If you don't have a home, it doesn't mean you're homeless. It means you're home free. It's allowing you to unplug from the matrix known as the 3D world in which we live in. The more you unplug from that, the more you can rise up and look around and see the reality of the possibilities of where you could go. It's when you're plugged in and live within a society that seems to shun big ways of thinking. Why would they shun big ways of thinking? Because then you'd no longer have a class system. You'd no longer have that pyramid scheme with the fat cats up top taking the money out of your pocket any way they can get it, providing you with products you don't need, providing you with food that kills you, providing you with health care that doesn't heal you, giving you the concept that you want to go on vacation somewhere else and it's going to cost you pretty much a quarter of your year's pay to do this, and you have to keep putting it aside. Taking from the reality of the moment you could be living with the hopes of living a moment in the future. But you could die in between that point and that point. You could have storms roll in and destroy the place that you were saving to go visit. There's so many variables in life that it really makes no sense that we don't enjoy the present moment. But we don't enjoy the present moment because we've been in such a toxic mindset that it's really hard for us to fathom I can enjoy now because now is what I have. There is no future. You have now. Because as soon as I'm done recording this video, I could have anything happen to me. There's always the matter of chance. And sure, when we look at it, there are no such things as coincidences, because the universe is always restructuring the world around us based off of the way that we think, the way that we feel, the way that we draw in energetically, what we manifest. The outcome is going to come from how you manifested. Were you negative? Were you positive? Did you not really put much care or thought into it? Because you can always get something a little bit different than what you asked for. It's just like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. The whole book is way different than the movie. And in the book, the monster, that's his name, Frankenstein is the doctor, he created the monster because he was so obsessed with the fact that he lost the love of his life. And he wanted to figure out how to bring her back. So he started going to the cemetery and piecing pieces together, and then took that electrical storm and put the life into the monster. But the monster had the feelings the same as the individuals that were used to create him, and he wanted something else just like him that he could love. But when that was created, she looked at him and said, "He's hideous," and ran away. That sparked hatred within the monster for his creator, Dr. Frankenstein, the love that refused to love him, and then he went on a rampage throughout every vicinity, just destroying everything, starting with everything that his creator was tied to that he loved. Family, friends. So it comes down to, we all want something. You have to start asking yourself, what are your dreams? What is it that is worth healing for? What is the prize at the end that would give you enough concept of a reward that you would go, you know what? Today is the day I pick myself up. Today is the day I dust myself off. Today is the day I open my eyes and I recognize the fact I don't have to sit in this spot forever. I don't have to sit in pain, misery, and toil my life away when instead I can choose to go, today is the day. I'm going to tell myself, you're worth so much more than anybody has given you credit for. And you can achieve the unachievable that has been there throughout your lineage. Whatever it is that's been passed down to you. And at this point, so many of us have these demons, addictions. And honestly, we can fight them together. But I will tell you, the only way any of us are going to prevail against these monsters is going to be through love and acceptance, as well as forgiveness. Because a lot of times it's that anger that we hang on to that is the fuel for us to keep hating ourselves. Because when you can hate somebody else, there's something within them that is a part of you that you're not recognizing. Because love is love, no matter how you put it. Hate is hate, no matter how you put it. If you're loving everyone around you, regardless of what looks like a flaw, you have a true, loving, genuine nature. But if you're looking at people and nitpicking everything about them, gossiping, spreading rumors, and sometimes lies, there's something within you that needs to heal. There's something within you that refuses to be vulnerable or accept others for their differences. And that's because you yourself fear being different. So I'm encouraging you to start digging, peeling the layers away, defrosting your heart, allowing yourself to be vulnerable. Even though somebody from the past hurt you, not everybody is the same. Not all people are going around with the intention of destroying other people. The world is not only full of narcissists. But yes, we do encounter people that will use us to teach us to learn to love, respect, and protect ourselves. So, once again, I hope that was helpful. I'm sure more stuff will keep going through my mind because I woke up having to make a list of questions based off of one thing somebody asked me. So, sending you peace, love, and light. Ciao for now. Bye bye.